Well, you're a lot taller, aren't you? You're definitely a lot. Why is everybody in golf a lot taller than me?
Do you want me to come down to you? Do you feel better?
Feel a lot better.
I'm now out of frame.
Ben, I am back. I'm back.
Good to have you back.
Thank you, yeah. No, I've been working on the things that we've talked about. I haven't had the time to practice as much as I would like to have, but I have been working on them.
Student.
Very bad student. However, there's one thing kind of moving on to the next bit with me, and these are the way in which my hands work and my wrists work within the golf swing. It kind of, I've been searching over the years for an answer as to what actually happens with my hands. I've been through lots of changes in my golf swing over the years to see where my hands should be positioned and what my hands should be doing through the ball.
Yeah.
So I thought today I would come up here and ask you the question. Do you have anything that we might be able to use that might be able to help give me a bit more of an understanding of how my hands and wrists work throughout the golf swing?
Yeah, of course we do.
Of course you do.
Of course we do.
What have you got? What have you got?
So we're going to get you on Hack Motion Sensor.
Okay.
So a little wrist sensor, 3D system that's going to actually measure how much your wrist moves, how much it flex, extends, how much it only deviates, how much it sets, how much it rotates. We're going to measure everything.
Okay.
We're going to show you everything that actually happens with your wrists and match it up to what your body's doing.
Great. And then we're going to take it out on the golf course and have a match.
Okay, so what, the goal is to not make you too good?
Yeah,
don't make me?
Don't make me too good. Just give me, all you got to do is give me the understanding and I'll think about it from there. All right? Sound good?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Ben, two things that I want to get a better understanding of today with my wrist action through the ball. Okay, so there's one position that I can never ever get myself into, which is what I call the full extension through the ball. So when you see players from this visual on, you see a lot of players, certainly, well, all the top players. My brother Paul is another one that would be in that position as well, where they get a full extension. You see this right arm coming straight through and then the club following straight through as well. Mine always ends up in this position, and I know players like McIlroy get into that position as well. So that's point number one. Point number two is then when you look down the line, when you see me post impact, so coming through the left arm position here, when you look at my club face will always be wrapped over and closed down. So there's obviously a lot of action going on down by the ball, and then as I come through the shot, the wrists are breaking, the club face is rolling over, and that combination I feel is when I get my bad shot, the ball obviously turns over a lot.
So what sort of flight have you been sitting recently? Like flight of the golf ball, bad one first. What's the bad shot?
I've always got two bad shots in me, which is the two-way miss, which is sometimes I can be a little bit lazy and block it out to the right, and then the second miss is just overturning it and finishing left of target. Generally it's a start position for me, so if I turn it over it's because I've started it maybe a bit too far left, and then it still moves. That swing there is probably my most natural feel.
You are turning better though.
I've been trying so hard to do it. It's hard to get me to do it.
Yeah, like you can see like your left bum cheek's coming
really
into
clearing.
display.
Yeah.
It's just your hands haven't quite calibrated themselves, have they, with that?
It's what it feels like.
So let's get some reading, shall we?
Yeah. So what is the actual system called that we're using today?
So this is Hack Motion.
Okay.
This is a cool little 3D system.
Yeah.
It's basically going to measure how much wrist movement you've got. So the cool thing with this, we can see, and we've just put it on your lead wrist, because pretty much what happens with this lead wrist controls the club face. Yeah. And if I was to take a club, like if you think how much that wrist has got to do in the swing, it's flexing, it's extending, it's rotating, it's cocking, it's uncocking. Like there's so much that goes on with the wrist, and actually it's one of the most looked at, I think, positions at the top. Like people always talk about like have a flat wrist, or you get like the famous like flex wrist now, which have like the Dustin Johnson's, John Rahm's obviously become very famous for doing that. That's how they square the club face down. That's how they've taught themselves to do it.
Okay.
Most people that I measured don't have that. It's more of an extension where it's it's the other way, which means the club face is open. So a compensation is going to have to be made, or a closing down effect is going to have to be made. But if you think about wrist for a second, like their job is to control the club face, is the best way I try and describe it to people. Like a lot of people, when their bodies, and you fall into this category, when the body isn't moving very well, clever hands, as in like people that have played golf a long time, find a way to generate power and control with their hands. The problem I have with that is it's working against what body's doing, so it's fighting a battle that it's not going to win.
And I feel that as a golfer, under pressure, that can break down sometimes. Time, almost like you're managing timing.
And if you think of like just one thing for example, like if I was to unhinge, this is a really powerful motion in golf. But it's powerful if body has got out of the way and it adds power to it, as opposed to trying to generate all the power from it. And you remember back from your 3D time, like your body wasn't moving great.
Not fantastic. No.
And it means that something else has got to take over, and that's the hand. Where a lot of people get it wrong is they try and fix compensations that the hands do. But unfortunately what they do that before, the problem was the fact the body wasn't moving well. So they fixed the compensation that was helping them play golf in the first place. And a great example, like if you see somebody that has like say a chicken wing, or you know, the casting kind of effect, that's their body trying to find a way to play golf. You remove that, and loads of people do this. They go, I don't like the fact that I've casted. But actually that was the thing that was helping you play golf. You get rid of that, you were no longer playing good golf. And how many times have you heard people say, oh, I went for a lesson, or I've been working something on a range. They've tried to fix something that didn't look very well, but actually they've just removed the thing that was helping them play golf. Whereas we try and do things a little different. We go after body first. Let's get body in a good position to make the hands then go, well, I can then work on face control and then add a bit of power afterwards. Not do both. Sadly, you're in the kind of limbo stage of like trying to get body to move better, and what we've got to try and do is just manage your hands better. So let's get a good understanding of what they actually are doing.
And I'm consciously following on from our previous lesson. I am consciously trying to clear this side, and I know you mentioned earlier you felt like you're seeing that, which is one of the questions I was going to ask was, do you feel like I'm getting it? Not that we're measuring that today, but it does feel like I'm consciously doing that to make it work.
But the nice thing is we can see that also on 2D camera as well. Like it's not always about measuring 3D all the time. Absolutely. So let's get some readings and let's have a little look. So just to calibrate it first, can you just put your hand out as flat as you can? And let me just check the sensors are all lined up, so don't move, don't move, don't move. And now just extend your wrist up as far as you can go. Cool, so now just do a little wave. So now on here, can you see we've got a nice 3D model of your wrist?
Yeah, I can. That would be a kind of a shot that I've hit recently. Talked about the little blocky shot. That's kind of one of them with a little push. So I'm not consciously trying to hold my wrists or be wooden or anything like that at this moment in time. I'm just swinging it freely as I can.
The thing is with you do have a lot of extension on your lead hand, don't you? Do you, as a conscious thought, because your left hand is quite strong, isn't it? Like you know like, that as in you've...
Historically, it's always gone round this way.
Does it get worse in the practice session or playing? Like if you were to watch it?
Just over time, I would say. Like if I'm... And I'll probably react to a shot that goes right, maybe, and just try and squeeze it a bit into more of a stronger position. So I would say it's not a conscious thing. I think it's naturally just slowly starts to fall into
Because like, just to give you an idea, right, like most people start with some extension here. Like if you think if that wrist is flat, like no one sets up like that, or not many people do. I have seen a few, but
Bryson
it's very rare.
Would be someone who would get into that.
Yeah, one of the one plane kind of thing. But actually like that kind of set, so there is some extension. The thing is with it is if you think about it from here, like if I was to take the club to here and stop, and you were to just look at that club face, the more that I extend, the more that club face opens. And the same thing is obviously if I bow. But at the top, you've made it worse. Like you've got more extended going up. So that club face already is open, isn't it? Like that ball is going right unless you do something about it. And it's in the thing that's doing about it, and how you do it, I have a disagreement with. Like, I think we could do it better. And actually, because you've opened it so much, and I think your left hand isn't helping. The fact that it's so strong is not allowing you to release the club as best you can.
So I'm naturally left-handed.
Yeah, nice.
So everything tennis is all left-handed. Pool would be left-hand. Like, it's my lead hand. I'm a little bit ambidextrous to a point, but for the most part, I'm left-handed.
But Tiger's left-handed, that's what I'm told. Phil Mickelson is right-handed. You see a lot of people that are
the reverse of what they
the reverse, and actually you can generate a lot of power because you think that hand is
pulling.
You've got a glove on it for a reason. You're trying to get some speed from it. The problem with yours is it's also controlling the club face. And of all the lessons that I've done, like if I think back on the last year, I could probably count on one hand the amount of people that have come in with a correct grip. Like most people grip it wrong to start with, mainly because they set up with the club on the ground, or Uncle Dave has told them how to grip a golf club when they first started, and it's wrong. And sadly, you're then building your swing around something that isn't right to start with.
Preset.
And I guess a lot of people that are probably watching this as well are in that boat. The problem I find is most people then don't want the hassle to change a grip or to make it better, because they fear that the pain of it outweighs the pleasure. And it's really not true. Like, actually, I always look at it from, if you can get your grip right and have a couple of weeks where it's not feeling good, for the benefit of then playing good golf for the rest of your life, I'd take that kind of mini sacrifice. But most people try a grip change, doesn't work, first time on the range and go, oh, that lesson with Ben didn't work, I'm out, I'm already out. Whereas actually you haven't really given it a chance. And the problem with you is because it's so strong, because like if I saw someone that had a really strong grip, but they managed to get the wrist flat at the top, there's an argument, I guess, that they don't need to do a great deal. But I don't think that argument exists with you. I think we need to get that left hand looked at, get it more into our fingers than into our palm.
Okay.
Because you can even see, like, look how much of a wear mark that you've got.
And the softer the glove, the more I get it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But the fact that it's actually moving in your hand,
it is sliding.
Either that's because it's come away, and you've then re-gripped it again, or what I fear is it's actually just moving and rubbing. We shouldn't see that at all. So, like, let's get the grip on bang on, right? So you're starting right, so grooves up to the sky, grip it more in your fingers to start with. And I always try and explain to people, like, you should be trying to feel like you're picking up a suitcase from an airport. That is the thought. Like, you would never pick a suitcase up, like one like that or one like that. Or funny enough, like golf at an angle. So like most people how do they check their grip? They're down here, aren't they?
Here, absolutely.
Oh, that looks good. Whereas actually, pick it up, make sure your grooves are pointing to the sky. Feel like there's more fingers in that left hand. And really feel like that top pad is on top.
Okay.
Now from there, you should be able to just comfortably see two knuckles if you were to pick it up. And then the test is always, can you lift your thumb off and your bottom three fingers and support it?
Oh, I'm supporting it off the...
Yeah, can you see that kind of fell slightly? So you want to feel like you're supporting it on that bottom pad.
Okay.
So from a camera view, we should be able to just see that wear mark. Now grip it more with your fingers and relax. Right, how does that feel?
It feels
really strange.
Very much this top part of my hand is right on top of the grip, so it feels like I'm more like this.
Now, what you should be able to do is feel like you can hinge.
Yeah, I can hinge. Definitely can hinge.
Okay. Now that's going to feel weird. Hopefully, good.
Very weird.
But good. It means you've done something different, doesn't it? So, because we're playing golf today as well, I need you to have that in your mind of something that you're going to do when you get home.
We're playing foursomes and I'm with Paul.
Are we playing foursomes?
We are at some point, aren't we?
Okay, give me something to look. I've got Mikey though. Okay.
You're all right.
Yeah. But that's how I want you to make more of a conscious effort on that left hand.
Okay.
And like then really feel like you're
left
weakening
thumb,
it.
Do you like that to squat in, or do you like
just feel like it's just going to squeeze in?
Squeeze in a little bit.
Squeeze in, and now with the right hand, just feel like it's going to slot in perfectly to the two pads. It's just going to fit just nicely on top, and then you should be able to see two knuckles, and you should be good. Yeah. Now here's the daft thing. Like I've been a pro now 20 years in July.
Yeah.
I still check my grip pretty much every shot. because I know my bad one goes like you.
Yeah.
It's such a common thing, especially on a driving range. If you think, what do you do on a driving range? You hit a ball, you drag another one, you hit it. Like, you can go for 100 balls without rechecking your grip. You'll never see a good player do that.
Okay, so from here then, don't think about anything now? Just
so
swing it?
Here's the thing when it comes to numbers, right?
Yeah.
So at address, you're extended 41 degrees. Okay, which is it's quite a lot. Like, the club is behind you a little bit. We could get your hands a little bit further forward to start with. Yeah. But by the time you've taken it to the top, you've then added and you've increased that number.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're now more extended. Now, by the time that you come to impact, you have done that move where you go into flexion. But because it's such a big number to start with, it's got so much to do.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to film one now with you feeling like you're not doing a great deal. Like, those hands are staying a little bit more placid.
So we're going.
They're gonna bit wooden for you potentially. Yeah. Let's see what that actually does, number wise.
Yeah. That grip feels. It just feels like I'm more up here. That's the feeling to it for me.
See, all I've done, mate, is like when I beat you later.
Yeah.
It's the reason.
Okay.
Now, instantly, you want to go back, don't you? Like, you can see that your hands are trying to go back around, back into that stronger, because you're so used to it. Whereas actually, I'd like you to feel that you can push those hands forward a little bit.
Yeah.
Just so this hand is in front of the ball to start with. There you go.
Okay. The grip doesn't feel weaker or stronger in any way. It just feels more, I would say, like almost like more upright is the feeling to me.
So you've just gone from 46 degrees at the top to 30.
Wow. So we've moved 16 degrees.
Yeah, so that's changed a lot, right? Yeah. It feels a bit weird because obviously grip changes feel a bit strange. But I don't think that would take long to actually
This doesn't
settle down.
This honestly doesn't feel too bad.
I think for me it's the amount of movement that you do at the top. I think actually there's two ways to attack this, right? We can either go to the top and actually reduce the amount of movement, as in the amount of extension here to start with. So let's make it flatter at the top. So your brain just goes, well, all I got to do is turn.
So what's interesting is where you're saying I go from here to bring it this way, I don't feel that at all.
Yeah.
There's no feeling of me doing that.
So we need to put the feeling in.
Yeah. Okay, so
let's put the feeling into it.
So in order for me to get to that position you're talking about at the top of the swing, I'm going to get the sense of feeling that the club feels like it's a little bit more hooded on the way back.
So, well, let's break it down, shall we?
Yeah.
So how about take it to your address position. So I like you to feel like the club is handled a little bit further forward to start with.
Yeah.
Take the club to me now and stop. And I want you to feel like it's not like you're so desperate to whip this thing in like we were doing before, right?
Yeah.
Is that should be matching your spine.
Yeah.
So it's not a hard thing to feel that it's a little bit more logo down just to start with.
Yeah.
But really the focus for you should be this forearm looking down, so right looking down on left, as opposed to getting that way.
Yeah.
So that's a nice way. If you do that again, just take it to me and stop. Yeah, just really feel like this right looks down on left. Yeah. Now take it up to the top and stop. So now you can see like that's more neutral. Yeah, it's flattened.
The elbows feel more connected as well, connected together a little bit more.
So go and hit one with that feeling. How'd that feel?
Rigid.
Rigid, yeah.
Quite rigid at the top, as a sense.
So that was the best you've done at the top from a numbers perspective. Like that was the flatter that it's been.
Flattest it's been.
It's been out of all of them.
Yeah.
It's still done that move. I think we can train more into that flexion as a feeling for you. But I think we've got to be so important that we don't lose fact that we're still trying to rotate our body.
It's a combination.
Because it's a brother-sister relationship. Like if you think of the body as like the brother just going out of control, the sister is the nice one trying to fix everything behind. You need them both talking.
Okay.
So actually what I like to kind of do is let's get you doing some half shots to start with.
Yeah.
So take it to me and stop. And I want you to feel like you're going to turn your lower body and just pull me down into position. right? Do you feel that? You feel that nice kind of laggy kind of feel?
Yeah.
You don't get that in your swing currently, do you? The club is not behind. It's a little casty to start with, isn't it?
For sure.
Whereas I want you to feel from there to there, it's gone turn, pull me down. Yeah, nice. That's the sensation, right? So if we hit a couple, actually take one to that position and just stop. Physically stop yourself first of all at here. So take it to me, stop, and let's just check your wrist. So think of that as like a checkpoint for you. You can see your wrist is flat.
Yeah.
And I want you to now do a little punch shot just by feeling that lower body is going to turn and the hands are going to follow. Amazing how high you still went, by the way.
On the way back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So try the same thing again.
To get a sense of speed in it, I suppose, is probably the reaction there.
So when it comes to stopping, I love a stop at the top here or halfway back is what we're doing, because it breaks a pattern.
Yeah.
And the idea with that is if you can break the pattern, you can build it again. So just take it to me and stop. Now I don't mind you doing a slight momentum swing up to get everything going, but I want it to be like this. It's a stop, slow momentum, and then turn. It's really hard to stop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think you stopped on that?
I felt like I stopped on that, not at all.
Nice. How'd that one feel?
Good. Body really opening up there. Like really opening.
So that's the first one that you've done where your wrist has been flexed, because we've flexed it early doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just giving you that sensation of how to start the club better, feeling that the club head is not open this way, it's matching your spine.
Yeah.
If it was me with you practicing, like on a driving range on a daily basis, like that should be your world that you live in for a bit.
A drill of that.
Because actually you're working on setting your wrist better.
Yeah.
And then practicing turning and getting everything connected, body, club, everything connected coming through. Because if you can't do it from here to here, it ain't going to happen when it gets bigger, is it?
Everything into it, no.
Do a few more of those and then we'll give you the feeling at the top.
Okay, just a bit mindful of the grip.
You've fallen straight into the trap though, haven't you, of like checking the club, checking the grip down here. Like honestly, just keep picking it up. Just get into that habit of feeling like a suitcase, you're picking it up, you've got your good hands on, and then you're set to go. Nice, best one yet. So at the top, you just got it to a degree, as in to pretty much 0.
Okay.
Which is amazing, considering that it was just so extended before. But bear in mind, you've only started swinging to here.
Yeah.
But the checkpoint has got to be, if you can't get it right here, it ain't going to get right going up, is it?
Look how far that's going. That's going as far as I know it's lower, but...
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
If you think of it from a lower perspective, that's you closing that wrist down. Bear in mind, if you think of this from a body perspective for a second, like if I was to just go to the top and I just literally span my body, what would happen to the club face? It's massively open, yeah. So one of the things that I see on 3D all the time is people clear their hips. They just haven't trained their brain to get that club face square. And that's what I mean. It is a brother-sister relationship. It's training in your hands after you've got your body better.
But I feel by doing this position here and then holding that there, I feel like all I need to do, that bit's done. I just need to turn onto it from there. Yeah. Rather than do anything with this.
This for you is just something that you've done forever. Yeah. And it's probably because you were told to try and release the club at some point. I think getting the release right.
I think it's stemmed from a very early age of this and this. You know, I was a big drawer of the ball for a long time. Yeah. So
it's how it was taught as well, though. Remember, it was it was flippy at it. That's how.
As kids, we wanted to hit it as far as possible, and that was probably the only way we could do it without any muscle move. You know, any muscles. Okay.
But now things have changed.
Now we've got bigger and stronger.
Honestly, mate, that is class.
Is that better?
And I quite like the fact that the ball is coming out lower with a punch. Like you're training a shot as well, if you think about it, because there are times where you're in trees and you need to be able to hit it out all right.
Yeah.
This is quite a nice drill to do. And actually most people spend too much time doing full flat out swings. Try this one at half the speed. So literally feel like you're going to take it here. And I want you to kind of pat it to that kind of green flag. So it's not going to go, the green net, sorry, it's not going to go much further than kind of 80 yards. Yeah, nice. The whole idea of that is if you can't do it slowly, it ain't happening fast, right? No. So just to feel that motion of that wrist setting correctly, you're getting that nice flexion, that nice kind of motion where that grip is, where the logo is more pointing down. And actually this time, just make sure you stop and just keep doing some checks from time to time. Look how good your wrist is there.
Yeah.
Like, that's nice, right?
It's nice that I can see the face of the club when I'm here as well, like not there.
So how about we try and take it a little higher?
Okay, I can do that.
So let's go 3/4 now.
Okay.
How'd that one feel?
A bit thin, but still
not too worried about the strike of the shot as yet, as obviously we're doing a motion, we're doing it slower. So by the way, you at the top there was 6 degrees.
Okay.
So you've gone from 46 to 6. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And I think the thing that's really important for you is get it right early doors. Like if you can get your left hand better, if you can get your takeaway better with that wrist, all you have to do is swing up and down. Like you remember on the 3D, like how fast your downswing was. It was like 1/4 of a second, right? Yeah. And this is why I think when people try and make so much movement, they're doing that in 0.25 seconds. There just isn't time to do it. So it's easier, in my opinion, to do it on setup. Like I feel like hands are doing less.
Yeah.
And then just focus on a turn.
This feels like a little 3/4 punch.
Isn't it amazing though how far that's actually going?
Yeah.
Because bear in mind, like the big hitters in the world, the 6-iron, when it comes to impact, is not a 6-iron, is it? They've de-lofted it to the point it's like a 5, some to a 4, which is why you get that nice kind of stinging, penetrating kind of flight. You look like you could do that all day.
I could do that all day. That's a simple move to me, that now. As in, like, my body just wants to turn. It's almost making my body turn as well, because I know I almost feel where the face is in the swing.
Go on, do one more and then I'll show you what happens then at the top. So best one yet.
Okay.
By a country mile, right? So at the top it's 21, at impact 18, so it's only moved a handful, like it's staying a lot more stable coming through. The key to then understanding is then what happens then with release, because you do occasionally cast it, don't you?
Chuck it.
Which unfortunately is a massive power loss for everything, isn't it? Because it's how you then, if power is lost here, you know, I always think of release as it should be, you're trying to build up as much energy in your backswing as you can to release all that energy at impact. If you've released it early, well then technically it's then slowing down then at the ball. Yeah. But the problem with you is because you've also started with your hands behind, you then get a little bit scoopy on it, and then what happens is then the club finishes here, as opposed to feeling that there's a proper nice solid release here, which is what you're after. Yeah. So let's practice that first. Okay. So actually let's just run you through what a good release system would be first of all. So if you put those good hands on it, first of all, I love that, by the way. I want to see every video that you do from now on. Like,
yeah, I'm in
like
there.
This. And then let's just go through it. So without the ball, first of all, like release is here, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what I want release to be, where you've got this arm nice and straight. You can see you've released all that power. Now do a couple of swings and just return back to that position for us. So really slowly, just do a swing and practice returning back to this position. Yeah, nice. Do that again. Now just for a bit of fun, try and do a bad one where you try and cast it and return back to that position.
I have to slam the brakes on here to then get it to there.
It's really hard to do though, isn't it?
Massively.
And I think that's quite an important thing when you're actually working on your game, is actually do it slowly, experience good and bad.
Yeah.
Like you want to see the bad ones, you want to see how hard that actually is to do. And then the way I always try and teach release is if you were to almost imagine it's like a baseball swing for a second. Yeah. Like if you were hitting a baseball bat, you would, or a ball, you would never go that way.
No.
Would you?
Hold on for dear life,
it's no, 100%. Like, it's the same thing with the chicken wing. Like, if you watch people that do baseball swings, you would never do that and then that, would you? But because golf is so unique in the sense that we're in golf posture and we're hitting down on an object, all these things can come into play, right? So I actually quite like to do that whole release thing standing up at impact. So pretend like you're hitting baseball, put the club out in front, and actually make some nice baseball swings returning back to that position. And really feel like you're letting the club release past the ball. Yeah. As warm-ups go, that would be a great one for you.
Okay.
Just to really feel you're in baseball mode, and then all I would try and do is then start adding some posture into it. You will be amazed, right? If you ask anybody, like let's say somebody that comes over the top, they have this big over the top move, ask them to do that in baseball swings and just watch them for a second, because it's actually quite funny to watch when they stand there and they do. They wouldn't do it, would they?
No, not at all.
And the same thing if you came that way and then went into chicken wing. Golf is so unique. It's a very difficult game because we're hitting down on an object and expecting that object to go up. So haven't quite got that feeling from a strike perspective yet, have we? But actually, if I said that your wrist has halved how much it's moved,
has it really?
You take that, wouldn't you?
All day long.
Because then it's got half the work to do afterwards. Do you remember when we were in the studio, we were working on getting you into a better impact position?
Yeah.
One of the things that you can do with that is let's tie that into this. So like if you think of release for you is hips have cleared, chest is cleared, hands are released past the ball, right?
Yeah.
So let's get you set up into that position first of all as a practice swing and just make some motions returning back to that position. So we're tying in how that club releases past the ball and how our body gets us there. And just slowly build it up into a full swing. Can you see how lower body's clearing out the way so much smoother?
Yeah.
And then let's try and put that in slow motion to start with. Let's try and do this at like half speed. Right, how did that feel?
Pretty easy to get there, to be honest with you.
As in, it's annoying that you do it the other way.
Yeah, frustrating. But the good thing about this today, and this is the most important bit, is just me getting a better understanding of it. It's something I can take away and just focus on myself, and just a few key checkpoints getting me into those positions, you know?
Yeah, but bear in mind, like, it's a brother-sister relationship. They both have to be on board, which is why I think it's important for you to keep working on that good impact, so clearing. But this is just matching everything up, isn't it? This is matching up with the wrist.
The next bit.
The next kind of stage to it,
Absolutely right.
Most people do it the other way around.
Okay.
And then wonder why it doesn't work.
Yeah. Love that. That felt really easy.
You got a tick on both.
Felt all right?
Easy.
Easy. Love it. Well, that was fascinating. I came up here with the idea to get a better understanding of how my hands and wrists work through the ball. I feel like I have that now. I really do. I've been out on the golf course, we've had our game, which the vlog will be coming out very soon. And there were hints of fantastic stuff out there. There's hints of things that I need to work on, and I still need to get the feels for it, and under a little bit of pressure it's always good to go through that as well. But I have an understanding of it now. But I'd like to hear what you think. Did you enjoy that video? Down in the comments down below, would you be interested in understanding this for your own game? I'd like to hear that down there as well. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll see you all again very soon.